Good morning, Cumberland Valley Tree Service. This is your tailgate meeting for Good Friday, the 10th of April. It's going to be a short one, and I'm going to show a little skill or tip afterwards. So it might take 5 or 10 minutes. We'll see how it goes. Personal safety and active caring. I'm going to explain to you real quick what that means. At the end of this lesson, should demonstrate attentiveness to potential hazards affecting themselves and coworkers, and demonstrate a willingness to intervene for their safety. That's the important part of that statement. Job steps affected by today's topic is everything. Landscaping, hardscaping, construction, tree care. Everything. Potential hazards. Trees, heavy equipment, power tools, heights, traffic, electricity. Those are everything that make this job fun, if you ask me. I'm going to share with you the one preventable incident, and then I'm going to move on a little bit. Employee number one was a climber on a large tree crew. 2 other climbers. The other 2 climbers admitted later they could clearly see the first climber's saddle was in pretty rough shape, but they assumed he would inspect it and replace anything he needed to. While 25 feet up, the rope bridge on his saddle broke. Employee number one broke his pelvis and 3 ribs in a fall. This whole lesson and what all this goes into is really about taking responsibility for your own safety. For your own safety, for the safety of your crew, for the safety of your client, the safety of the company. It's about looking after yourself to make the best choice, the safest choice in any given situation. The other incident they have in there that they talk about is a gentleman was blowing the road off and he started to back up and stepped into traffic, nearly got ran over. I want to say I'm pretty certain that's probably happened before. All right, if you see somebody chipping brush on the street side of the chipper, let them know about it. See somebody walking around without eye protection on, which I see a good bit, and I sometimes let slide because they have a face shield. But just a rabbit hole right here, I hope everybody knows that these are the only eye protection that is acceptable. A face shield should be secondary with eyeglasses, with eye protection. If you're wearing prescription glasses, they better be safety glasses. Okay, I'm done with my rabbit hole. Look out for your coworkers. Look out for yourself. If you're the foreman on the job, everybody there is your responsibility, especially younger employees. All right? We get some summer help. I know times are a little goofy right now because of the whole COVID thing, but when you're working with young guys, 18, 19, 20, up to 25 years old, they're invincible. Don't worry, I used to be invincible as well, and think they know everything. All right, you sometimes have to drill into their head what is good and what is not. Most of the foremen at this company have an immense amount of experience, day in and day out, doing proper tree care. Safe, proper tree care. Don't want to let that go. This needs to be mentioned. Too many guys are just afraid about the confrontation that may happen. I know it's tough. Sometimes, hold on. I know it's tough sometimes to make that call, when to say something and when not. But if you're the foreman, you're in charge. Take responsibility for that person and their safety. They might thank you later. Drive-by Sam. They might thank you later. It could be something as simple as, hey, make sure you have your ear protection in. Please put chaps on when you're making that cut. Why don't you have a helmet on? You know, please put outrigger pads down. Why aren't we using mats? I don't want to get stuck. Just those everyday things that you all see, and I see, and let slide just because, it'll take too long and I really don't want to tick that person off today. Any reasonable individual is going to appreciate somebody else looking out for them. If they don't, that's when you need to come see me and say, hey, so-and-so is being an idiot. He refuses to wear his earplugs, or he refuses to wear appropriate shoes when he's on the job, or whatever. Does something that's gonna either hurt himself or somebody else. Those kind of things we need to bring up, we need to talk about. Yeah, okay, that's it. Moving on. Try to get this repositioned here. There we go. Take a couple minutes and talk to you all about why to keep a chainsaw sharp. Obvious reasons: it cuts easier, it's faster. Yeah, those are the two best reasons. It's faster. I'm going to bring up some other reasons. My example here is about a 10-inch piece of Norway maple. It's not the hardest thing in the world. Now, this is a somewhat brand new chain. There might be an hour on it, and I did touch it up just a few minutes ago. Took like 2 strokes off of it just to hone it up. It pulled itself through that piece of wood. Okay? I was just guiding it down through the piece of wood. If you are torquing on a saw and forcing it through something, you need to stop and sharpen it, or put a new chain on, or do something. I'll tell you why in a second. But first, I need to make more work for myself and show you all what a doll chain looks like. Finally, the camera stayed where I wanted it to. So, as you can see, I ran chain into the ground, which I don't recommend, by the way. This is for demonstration purposes only. Dulled the heck out of this thing. Still went through the piece of wood, but you notice I had to torque on it. Now, that does a couple things. One, if you're me in this situation, I have my first brand new saw in about 10 years. I traded in 3 chainsaws of my own, got a brand new one. I don't want to break it. When you torque on a saw, when you're putting a lot of pressure on to cut, you're putting way more pressure on these vibration dampeners and bushings than you should. They're not made for that. They're vibration dampeners. They're not made to withstand ripping it, pulling it, pushing it down through a piece of wood, ripping it out. When you have it stuck or pinched, you will break them or bend them. I can always tell any saw that's been used for 5 years in this line of work, this industry, day in and day out, usually is bent a little bit. Power head's a little crooked because the springs and the bushings have been pulled and torqued from running doll chains, from getting them pinched. Over the years, it does happen. But you don't need to make it happen any faster than normal. So you're going to be putting more pressure on the saw, which isn't good for the saw. You're going to be putting more pressure on yourself, in your joints, in your elbows, in your wrists, and your arms, because you're pushing it down through a piece of wood, which is going to make you fatigue more and more quickly than you want to. And also, to get better leverage, you're probably going to want to move in closer to the cut so you can pull up harder on that chainsaw. All right? So let's think about this. You're pushing the saw harder down through a piece of wood, and now you're closer to the chainsaw. What's more likely to happen? You're more likely to push it through that piece of wood and into your foot. And that has happened. I know people who have done that exact thing. And if it can happen once, it can happen again. So those are a few of the other residual effects of running a dull chain. Yeah, if you got to do a lot of cutting and you have a chain that you even think is a little bit dull or it's not cutting the way it should, sharpen it. That's all I have to say about that.